Welcome to Eye on America. I'm Michelle Miller. Today we travel coast to coast to witness individuals and communities serving America's youth. We hit a home run with Major League Baseball star Mookie Betts to see how he's giving back to those in need. And we enter the creative world of author and illustrator Vashti Harrison, who's on a mission to help children of color to see more of themselves in books. But we begin on a somber note. The opioid crisis has led to a surge in overdoses that continue to claim young lives. Fentanyl was associated with nearly 80% of adolescent overdose deaths in 2021. Christina Ruffini shows us how teachers are being trained to use an opioid reversing treatment.
The most important lesson being taught at school on this day isn't for the students. It's for their teachers.
How do you know when a person is overdosing?
A 14-year-old died after suspected opioid overdose in an Arlington, Virginia high school. The school district immediately took action, with the rare step of requiring all secondary school teachers to learn how to use Narcan, or other generic forms of the drug naloxone, which can reverse the effects of an overdose in just minutes.
Will that cause any problems if they're not overdosing on opioids?
No, it will definitely not cause any problems.
Craig Pepper says he and his fellow teachers want the life-saving treatment on hand.
So I'll have one in my desk, in my room, so I could administer it immediately if I had to.
But teachers aren't the only ones getting an education. Parents and community members are rushing to these free training sessions to learn how to use naloxone and bring it home. Nationwide, fatal overdoses in young people jumped 123% from 2019 to 2021. The vast majority of those deaths involved fentanyl. Emily Sickvilland is the opioids program manager for Arlington County.
Who should be carrying Narcan with them? Everyone. It's a basic first aid tool that all of us should have in our medicine cabinets.
According to the CDC, if an overdose is suspected, first call 911, then administer naloxone.
It literally just goes in the nose and you just squirt it.
Keep the person awake and breathing until help arrives.
Let's say that you've given them a dose and you don't see any response. You can, after 2 minutes, you can give them another dose.
Ann Seitz has twin 14-year-old boys, the same age as the student who overdosed.
It's scary to be a parent right now. If we can help anyone by being trained, it's powerful.
Because when it comes to saving lives, knowledge is power.
Close to my pharmacist, so I was going to...
Let's continue the conversation around protecting our adolescents and turn to their mental health. One New Jersey high school is offering strategies to help teens alleviate anxiety, depression, and cope with difficult emotions. Meg Oliver sat down with students to talk about their struggles and what helps.
3 days a week, Grinnellese crews Maddie Torres and Alex Kumar meet with their high school social worker, Kristen Madden.
We could start with some breathing exercises to just kind of get us calm.
In 2020, the Parsippany Hills School District in New Jersey started the STRIVE program. It offers at-risk youth academic support for the classroom and teaches coping skills for their emotions.
I got depressed and it wasn't really good. I was kind of in my room a lot and it wasn't really fun.
How bad did it get for you?
It got bad. It's definitely been better since I've gotten in this program. I think the last few weeks have been hard for me, for sure.
Yeah. Why have they been hard?
Just like school. And Ms. Madden definitely helped me this morning.
On this day, Maddie was struggling with some online teasing. She's not alone. Numerous studies have shown an association between increasing social media use and depression. Researchers found that teens compare themselves to curated images posted online and feel inadequate and insecure.
Raise your hand if you've been depressed. Raise your hand if you've struggled with anxiety. Raise your hand if you feel like you're in a better place today.
I'm having more of a smile on my face now. I'm being more positive.
Kristen Madden wants parents to know that their children are facing bigger challenges than when they were adolescents.
It's real for these kids. Usually they're not trying to be difficult. They really are struggling.
Have you ever seen it this bad?
Never. Breathe in for 4 seconds.
In addition to academic support, Madden teaches her students coping strategies from breath work,
hold it for 7 seconds,
to grounding.
One of the activities that you can do anywhere if you're feeling anxious is a grounding activity. It's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So 5 things that I can see is the board, the flag, your glasses, the note paper, and then my pen.
4 things you can touch.
My water bottle, the pens, the table, and my skin.
3 things you can hear.
Voices, the elevator, and the clock ticking.
2 things you can smell.
I can smell Alex's food.
You can smell that?
Yeah,
Wow.
My lip gloss.
And 1 thing that you can taste.
The pizza I ate.
It's a tool she says anyone can use during an anxious moment.
The important part is that you're able to interrupt what is going through your mind. It just kind of brings you back to focus on things. I mean, if you're in the middle of a state of anxiety and you have to look around and pick 5 things to see and really focus on them, it interrupts the cycle of anxiety. The prompt that I picked today was, what is 1 thing you're proud of achieving?
Madden also stresses the benefits of journaling and focusing on positive aspects of your life.
I had a good grade on my math test, and I'm like really terrible at math, so I'm proud of that.
We know that gratitude helps reduce anxiety and depression, and being in a state of here and now and being grateful for the things that you do have rather than focusing on the things you don't. And I think with teenagers, that's especially huge because they compare themselves so often to other students.
What do you want other kids at home to know about why it's so important to talk about your mental health?
It's not good to keep it bundled together because you will literally lose your mind, because it's happened to me before and it's not a good feeling.
It's okay to ask for help. You don't need to suffer in silence. It's all right. Not everybody's going to accept, but you will find the right people.
Ahead, the superhuman philanthropy of baseball star Mookie Betts. This is Eye on America. Welcome back. You may know Los Angeles Dodgers star Mookie Betts as one of the best hitters in the game, but he has some tremendous skills off the field, too, serving underprivileged youth. Jerika Duncan caught up with him to talk about the source of his generous spirit.
Mookie Betts is known for setting teams on a championship path. In 2018, with the Boston Red Sox, Betts became the first player in Major League history to win the MVP, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, and the World Series in the same season. 2 seasons later, he won another World Series title, this time with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You going to the World Series this year?
Yeah, that's the plan every year. That's the plan every year. It's always a tough process, though, but it's fun.
But Betts has another love, where balls and strikes take on a new meaning. By his count, he's bowled at least 30 perfect games. We met Mookie in an LA bowling alley when he and his wife Brianna hosted their first charity event.
Right down the middle.
How was my form?
Your
Not
form,
bad?
honestly, is horrible, but it's okay.
It's horrible? What would make it better?
No, it's not horrible. It's not horrible.
And he would know. Bowling is in his blood. His mother, Diana Collins, gave birth to Mookie just hours after playing in a tournament. Competitive drive clearly runs in the family.
What I do, baby? What I do? My family is very competitive. I mean, we play marbles, and we're trying to win. When Mookie came along, it was just par for the course. You have to learn to be competitive, or we don't play with you.
I'm nervous.
The tournament raised more than $120,000 for children in underserved communities.
I just want to provide the opportunity for a kid's dream to come true.
Where does the compassion come from and this want to give back?
Seeing my mom and my dad and how when I was going to football practice, when I was going to baseball games, we were always there early. He would wash other kids' clothes. He would make sure that other kids were good the same way I was good. And my mom as well. we were paying for everybody's food, and we were doing these type of things. And so I think it just kind of got instilled in me.
Mookie grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. It's where he met his wife, Brianna, in middle school.
He was like, will you be my girlfriend? I didn't answer, but I didn't hear him, honestly.
You mumbled.
Yeah, he had to, because like I didn't hear that, I would hear that.
How did it sound? As far as you and my girlfriend?
Probably. Just like that, yeah. Because I was, you're nervous.
Bye, Daddy.
These days, their daughter, Kenley, is arguably the real star of the family.
Having our daughter really opened up my eyes. Kids have endless dreams and hopes, and they never give up.
His family also includes his childhood friends, who are always willing to team up when Mookie is ready to serve. Back in 2018, after Betts won Game 2 of the World Series, he and his friends were spotted leaving food for the homeless.
We all have the same selflessness. Think about other people before ourselves. I don't do these things for people's recognition. I do it for me. And God doesn't need cameras.
No.
God sees it.
And Betts sees himself as more than just an athlete. Alongside his friends, he recently launched a production company. The first release, Jackie Robinson, Get to the Bag.
And you can't erase history ever. The hate that came with the winds was all sticking together.
To the sounds of hip-hop, the story goes beyond baseball to mark the history Robinson made as the first black executive of a national corporation and founder of a bank in Harlem, making loans more readily available to black people.
The agendas I always had in the tank, from chock full of nuts to Freedom National Bank, led some of mine to call me an Uncle Tom capitalist. Pardon me for giving you my advantages.
Yeah, he's a huge influence. If I start to do something, whatever it is, I go hard. Like I invest all my time. Because I don't know how to half do anything.
For the first time since Robinson integrated pro ball in 1947, there wasn't a single African-American player on the World Series roster. That season, Mookie wore a shirt that read, "We need more black people at the stadium."
I think that one of the main things is just that the kids don't see us out there. If you watch football and basketball, you can see us everywhere. All on the court, all in the commercials. I have to continue to do my part, getting ourselves out there so kids can see someone that they can be.
On one hand, baseball brought him fame. On the other, bowling has offered balance.
And this is my happy place.
He spends hours in his garage drilling or polishing his collection of bowling balls.
So why do you have so many?
I hoard them, Bowlers hoard bowling balls. This is normal. This is where it all goes down. After baseball games, sometimes I come out here. A lot of ideas come out of here, so this is a very special place in this house. You want to finish it?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
What? Oh, look, there we go. We're almost there.
For now, spring training is in full swing, and you can bet Mookie is ready to play ball.
How have you been able to manage this competitive nature, this 100% in everything you do, but also give yourself grace to make mistakes?
Ninth pitch. I don't think I give myself grace.
Is that something you're working on?
No.
Because it made me who I am.
Mookie Betts opens the fourth with a home run.
I'm not perfect, but I also strive to be perfect. And the closer I can get to perfect, the better I'll be.
Coming up, we meet an author on a mission to teach children about black leaders and dreamers. That story's next. We close our show in the vivid world of author and illustrator Vashti Harrison. Whether on the page or in an Oscar-winning film, she hopes her work inspires young people who don't always get to see themselves in stories. I recently met up with her in Brooklyn to witness how her creations come to life.
Something will just come to me out of the blue.
Author and illustrator Vashti Harrison has quite a vivid imagination.
I often start with a kid or just a face shape, and then I wonder, what is interesting to me right now?
That right now depends on which point in time over the last decade you've caught her in. Look at this. Her resume crosses the spectrum of the visual arts.
I think of myself as a multimedia artist, so I like to approach stories and storytelling from as many different perspectives as possible, because I'm a firm believer that not every story needs to be told in a single medium.
She's moved seamlessly between film and children's literature, creating characters and stories that break the mold, including Hair Love, written by Matthew Cherry. That story put her on the map.
I think people were hungry to see a story like that, celebrated in that way. It's a really simple story. It's about a relationship between a father and a daughter doing something as everyday as doing your hair.
Hair Love became a film and won an Oscar for Best Animated Film Short in 2020.
I think that's really unique and special to highlight these moments.
Her luxuriant style of color and form give young readers time and texture to lose themselves in. So when did that spark of creativity start with you?
I think I've always been driven to make art and tell stories. As a young person, I used to draw a lot. I would sit in front of the TV and copy my favorite cartoon characters. And as I got a little bit older, I would flip through fashion magazines and copy outfits and hairstyles. I realized that I could start expressing myself and telling my own stories. But that spark, I think, has always been there.
Did you see yourself represented in those pages?
I think as a young person, I found different ways to connect to different characters, but I don't think I ever saw too many characters that looked exactly like me.
In 2017, a mission to celebrate African American women during Black History Month evolved into the best-selling children's book, Little Leaders.
You know, when Carter G. Woodson founded Negro History Week in 1926, his goal was to celebrate the stories that had been long neglected throughout history, and I thought, who better to celebrate than Black women?
She shared the lives of some 40 achievers, from mathematician Katherine Johnson to writer Maya Angelou, and one character that embodied why representation matters.
I think the story of Mae Jemison, the first Black woman in space, her story was so inspiring. One, because she went to space when I was a kid and I didn't know her name when I was growing up.
What are the chances of the captain and the others being alive?
It wasn't until she had seen Nichelle Nichols play Lieutenant Uhura on the TV show Star Trek that got her finally to believe that she could be an astronaut.
Don't you understand?
Nichols nearly left Star Trek because of backlash, but changed her mind when she met with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
He told her how much her work was important to him and people around the world, that she mattered and her story mattered. And she went on to have incredible roles in Star Trek, but then later worked for NASA to help recruit people. And Mae Jemison went on to be on Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's like, it's so beautiful that these women, that their lives intertwine, that we can see how it's important it is that they knew each other's stories existed. And so I wonder how many other young people are inspired by these stories.
Another inspiring story, Sulwe, which was illustrated for Oscar-winning actor Lupita Nyong'o, earned an NAACP award for outstanding literary work, one of many books in her catalog.
Sometimes you can get really into these little details, and I wonder, like, is anyone going to notice the little lace pattern on the clothes? Some of the earliest sketches for Big are in this little notebook.
A work of fiction based on her own childhood.
I wanted to create a story, a book that could be the comforting words that I definitely needed to hear. It follows the story of a girl. When she's young, all of the adults around her say things that we've all said, like, you're such a big girl now, you're a big girl now. And big is good, until a certain point comes and somehow big isn't good anymore.
I'm so curious, is it in posture, or is it in some more ethereal way that you're showcasing?
What I'll
that
say
feeling?
is that the character grows bigger and bigger as her anxiety and her insecurity grows bigger and bigger.
Stories Harrison hopes young readers can find comfort in. Do you see your books making an impact on the next generation?
I think I can think of my work in abstract terms, and knowing that this is important, that it's going to reach people, because I know how books affected me. But when I get to go out to schools and chat with young people. It feels really special for me when they pick up a book. When they pick up one of my books, they've never seen it before, and they say, that one's me, or that one looks like me. That makes a huge difference, because I remember that feeling.
Harrison wants to work more on animated feature films and television. She even hopes to enter the three-dimensional space of toy making.
More recently, I've been excited about kind of crafting with my hands.
And so you've created all of these?
I have. So all of the figurines are crafted from tin foil base with paper mache on top and paper clay. They're not, high art materials, but through the process of crafting a character, you can make something that is, 100% a piece of art.
Do you get inspiration from your neighborhood, everyday life?
Absolutely.
And she adds, there's no cap to her creativity.
I have lots of ideas, so I'm never nervous about what I have coming up, but I feel really fortunate to be in this position, to be able to take the time to say, what do I want to work on today? It feels incredible, and maybe everything that I ever wanted as an artist. For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news 24/7, stream us right here on CBS News. I'm Michelle Miller. Thank you for watching Eye on America.